Hey everybody, I'm Cody. Today I wanted to talk about a mixer that I just picked up. I have been working on building a food truck and been looking for a good spiral mixer that doesn't really break the bank. And so I just ordered and received the Spiralmac Royal Queen 12 spiral mixer. It's from Italy and through a company in Nebraska as the importer. Um, Whenever I was looking at spiral mixers, I was looking at the Spiralmac, the Famag, and the Sun Mix mixers, and just kind of looking at all the different features of all the different mixers, and along with the price point, I decided to go ahead and try the Spiralmac, even though I couldn't really find any good reviews that were in English. Most of the videos and things of that nature were Italian, so I'm kind of took a flyer to see what it's like, and I wanted to make a video so that anyone else in my situation has a general idea of what this mixer can do, what kind of quality it has, and be able to make a slightly better choice. So for starters, again, this Spiralmac here we'll get a little bit better picture. Spiralmac Royal Queen 12 kilogram spiral mixer. It is supposed to be able to do a minimum of 3.2 kilograms or 7 pounds up to 12 kilograms or 26.4 pounds. I have it on this just so have it up a little higher to mix here, but be able to get a better view. So what we're going to end up doing, we're going to make some dough, but first off I want to go over some of the features here, and just show kind of what led me to this. First off, again, price point, this mixer was about $2,000, and while that seems like a lot, whenever you look at the price of other spiral mixers with similar features, not too bad. So it has a downward spiral or upward spiral in the stop button, and it has unlimited variability between 110 and 310 RPM for the spiral itself. The bowl moves at 10 to 27 RPM. It's got a 17 quart or 16 liter bowl, and the bowl itself on the inside is about 12 and a half inches wide and 8 inches tall. One of the things that really brought me to this is how easy it will be to clean, or is to clean. It has the safety guard here, but whenever it comes to cleaning this, I don't think you're going to find another spiral mixer that is as easy. So to remove the breaker bar, it has this little thumb screw here. All you do, unscrew the thumb screw, pops right out. That way you can go take your breaker bar and clean it. For your spiral itself, it's got another little screw back here, right? And depending on where it's stopped whenever you're making it, will depend on where this is. It's a lot easier if you stop it whenever this screw is in the forward facing position, but little screw pops out. There's a little hinge here that swings open, and then the spiral itself pops right out, and then the bowl itself lifts out, and you can clean it. What's nice about that also is you can clean the whole platform, everything like that. It's got a sensor here to make sure that the bowl's in place. So it does have quite a few safety features as well. This bowl is solid. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's got a really thick base plate, which hopefully will help with durability, but also I hope that'll help kind of prevent some of the heat from transferring from the motor down below into the bowl itself. Putting it back, it's as simple as that. Grab your spiral, close the little clamp, put your thumb screw back, and then the breaker bar itself, pop it on. And it's that simple. So that in and of itself was a huge selling point for me. Again, wanting to keep this clean, and also just being able to keep it somewhere where it might not be the most convenient location at all times in a food truck, which is what I'm going to be starting for pizza. But that right there will make it to where cleanup and being able to do anything with it is so much simpler. This is 24 inches tall. It's about 26.8 inches tall with the wheels on. So I do have it on this little bench right here for this video. The counter was a little high, the floor was a little low, so try to find a happy medium here. I would definitely recommend, if you're going to have this in any type of commercial kitchen or semi-commercial kitchen, getting an equipment table that's, you know, one of those couple feet tall, and set it on that just to make it a little easier. The feet, or if you have the wheels on it, you do kind of need to adjust it, otherwise it will rock back and forth. But this is 120 volt, so you can plug it into a standard outlet, which was another selling point. It was the biggest one I could find that didn't require going up to a higher voltage, because I wanted to have that versatility. And so with this, with about a 270 gram pizza dough ball, I can make about 44 dough balls on a large batch. It does say that the minimum batch size is 3.2 kilograms of dough. And so that's what I'm going to be doing today, is really just checking that minimum. That should give me about 12 dough balls. So that's about 7 pounds of dough overall. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get that started. I'm going to add my water here first. I'm not going to use all the water just yet, but I'm going to pour my water in. Leave some for whenever I add the salt later. Going to add my yeast, which I already pre-measured everything out before this. I am using a little bit more yeast right now than normal, just because of the fact that I am going to try and make some pizza tonight. So just wanted to kind of see how the mixer worked and use that dough. So some people, they'll kind of start it up and let that yeast mix a little bit with the water. I'm using instant dry yeast. This is SAF Gold. I also have used red. The gold, I think, gives a little bit of a more yeasty flavor. But I'll kind of go into all that. I'll do another video later on about kind of making the dough and everything like that, and kind of what I've tried and aired on and everything like that. So as you can tell, it's a fairly quiet mixer. It's got this little dial for adjusting the speed, and then again the buttons. It has the safety, so if it is running and going like this, and then you lift it, it'll stop it right away. Whenever you close it, you do have to turn it back on. It will not start up right away, so just keep that in mind. If you're lifting it up, you are going to have to push that button again. So we'll go ahead and add our flour here. So this is about 2 kilograms of flour, and so it should be about 3.2 kilograms, give or take, what we're making here. So right about what they're saying that you should be doing. So we'll go ahead and start it. We're going to put it on low, and we're going to just let that mix. I'll bring the camera a little closer. And we'll let that go. I'll go ahead and speed this up and everything. And whenever I'm making my dough, I am going to do it based off of temperature. We're shooting for about 74.3-ish degrees Fahrenheit or 23.5 degrees Celsius. Just a couple other things about the mixer here that we'll talk about before I go ahead and speed this up, and we'll just see how it starts to incorporate here. This is the Rosa Red, again, Spiralmac Royal Queen, 12 kilogram. The hook speed, 110 to 310 RPM, bowl speed of 10 to 27 RPM. It does have the offset breaker bar, which, like your FMOG and everything like that, you either have to buy separately or it's just not an option. So what that offset breaker bar does is it makes it to where you can do smaller batches, and it should be able to incorporate a lot better even with a smaller batch. So that's another nice selling point there, a little value added. It does have the forward and reverse, Reverse, not used a whole lot, but if you do need it, some people, they put it on reverse so that it can aerate or incorporate. I just really haven't messed with that. They have different recommendations for speed based off of what your hydration level is. So this dough is about a 63% hydration. So they recommend a top speed of about 5 on the dial, which is about 210 RPM, which is pretty fast anyway. So don't really need to go that fast. It's 750 watts, so that's about 6.8 amp, I think it is, somewhere around there. So again, any normal outlet should work, and it's about 92 pounds, so it is a very, very solid mixer. It's definitely heavy. They also recommend running 20 to 25 minutes at a time, and then let it cool down whenever, again, you're at approximately a 60% dough hydration. So as you can see, and we'll kind of get in here a little bit more, it's starting to incorporate everything quite well. There's still some along the edge here, so we can use a little bit of our water, and we'll just pour that in and try and get it to peel off the side there. Again, this is pretty much the minimum that they recommend, so I'm not going to really fault them for taking a little bit to get everything off the side, but that's all right. But it still looks like it's starting to incorporate quite well. So as you can see, it is incorporating quite well. So now that it's all incorporated, I'm going to just speed it up a little bit. So it was at about 110 RPM on the spiral itself. Just moved it up to the one spot, so that should be about 130 RPM. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add our salt and then add the rest of our water. So just going to sprinkle the salt in on top here. And then we're going to add the rest of our water here. Now that I've added all the water and the salt, it is starting to kind of get a little tighter there. So that is a little more encouraging. It's cleaned off most of the side there, or really all the side. And it's starting to look pretty good. So again, going to do this based off of temperature. I was using cold water, but I went ahead and had left it out to try and cool it down, or to warm it up a little bit, just so we can get the dough to the temperature we want. It's pretty cold right now. It's well below freezing outside. Inside it's about 67, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So we'll go ahead and just check temperature. We're at about 66 degrees, so we got quite a ways to go. So what we'll do is we'll speed this up a little bit. Just because it is so cold, we can afford to. And I mean, really feeling it. The bowl is still extremely cold. Don't really feel any heat from the motor except for on the back side here. So that's good. And it doesn't really seem to be transferring into the bowl from the back here. So that's really what we're wanting. And it's starting to really mix quite well. We're going to bump this up to just get it to go. Starting to form the dough how we really want. Now that it's going, it's starting to keep it closer to that breaker bar and starting to form that pumpkin that everyone talks about. I will say this is the first time I've used a spiral mixer, so everyone's along for the ride here. But yeah, I am seeing that the breaker bar does seem to move a little bit. I guess I just didn't get tight enough. You really want to crank that down. It was moving a little bit there, but starting to get that nice pumpkin forming. So again, we're going to bump it up a little bit. About at 3 right now. So every 1 on the dial should be about 20 RPM. So that's 170 RPM, so we'll bump it up to about 3.5. Should put us about 180 or so. So now that it's going faster, it's really keeping it close to that breaker bar and starting to look like a really nice dough. Go ahead and check temperature again. So still got quite a ways to go. So it is a little wobbly, but that has to do with the bench and everything also, and it is on the wheels. I'd recommend if you have this in a set spot, I'd take the wheels off and see about getting feet for it or something. One thing about it, it does not have a bowl light. Probably not a deal breaker for a lot of people. I mean, most of the time you're going to have pretty adequate lighting in a kitchen. But I'm sure you could find a little magnetic light you can stick on there. Again, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles of like your Sunmix Evo or anything like that. It doesn't have the temperature, the timer, the digital display, anything like that. But again, I think for the price point, adding a $10 digital timer to the top and maybe a little magnetic light to go with it, that I wouldn't complain too much. And honestly, it's extremely quiet. It does have a little bit of a high-pitched hum, but compared to something like the KitchenAid I have, it is a lot quieter. So we got that up to about the max speed that they recommend for 60% hydration. So this is about 200 RPM. Might be a little crazy, but again, it's really cold out, and we're trying to hit that temperature. So we'll allow it for now, and let it starting to build that gluten, starting to form that pumpkin real nice. The bowl itself, the sides of it are clean, and it's coming off the breaker bar real nice. So yeah, I mean, definitely don't have any complaints so far. Looks great. With the KitchenAid, I've got just the tilt head KitchenAid 4.5 quart or whatever. I can only do about 1 kilogram of dough at a time, or flour at a time, and even that was pushing it. And trying to get that real consistent dough, that gluten build and everything was a lot harder. This is looking effortless so far. Hey Google, add 5 minutes timer. Yeah, you can tell just by sticking in the thermometer now, even just how that consistency of the dough is changing. We're about 72 degrees, so about 2 more degrees. We'll go ahead and bring the speed back down a little bit so it can finish out. I'm just checking that thumb screw. It's got a little bit of play on the breaker bar, but I mean, it still seems like it's forming quite well there. starting to form that nice tight pumpkin, so it's starting to look real good. Obviously, you know, the more I start using it and everything, I'll be able to see kind of what speeds work, what temperature, everything like that, and go from there. But, you know, initial impressions so far, quite good. Definitely see how it's building up there. Just about there. Just bumping it up to that 5 real fast, just to really see how quickly it can incorporate with this 63% hydration. And I mean it's making a really awesome looking dough so far. So we're about there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it all the way back down. I'm going to leave this for about 10 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes now. So what we're going to do is one reverse rotation of the bowl. I put a little Sharpie mark here because the bowl didn't really have any marks on it, just so I can tell whenever it's hit one revolution. And I'm sure later on I'll probably make some nice decal or something just to make it. So reverse on here is pushing the up button, so that'll make it to where the spiral goes in the upward direction, but that'll also reverse the bowl, and we have it on the lowest speed. So, yeah, don't like that. All right, so I lied. we did one forward rotation just to get it to mix up, but now let's check out this dough. I mean, just initially alone, it feels amazing. I mean, it's got some pretty good stretch there. Just gonna pull it out. We'll put it in the bowl here. And I'm going to let it set for about an hour, and then I'm going to ball it. I mean, that is just some really strong gluten. Some people like to put olive oil at this point, or whenever they do that final rotation. I haven't really worried about it just yet. But yeah. So, gonna just get it into a big ball for this bowl. Kind of tuck it. I know you can't really see what I'm doing over here, but I'm just gonna tuck the sides. And just look at that dough. That is really nice looking. So I'm excited to see how it turns out here after let it set for a little bit. And then this, again, you know, easy to take apart and clean. Just have to do that here in a little bit. Let's come back up here. So, final thoughts here. The dough, I mean, really speaks for itself. Looks amazing. Feels real strong. Leaps and bounds above anything that KitchenAid's ever done. So I'm excited to see how it turns out. I mean, the mixer overall, easy to operate. really quiet. You know, took about 13-14 minutes, I think, to hit temperature of mixing time, a varying speed between that 110 and about 200 RPM on the spiral. All in all, I mean, really right now the only complaint I have is kind of how this is loose, but you know, I probably see just what I can do to get rid of some of that play. Maybe get like a little plastic sleeve for this bolt that goes through on the top, because that's kind of what seems like it has the issue, has the play there, is that bolt just has a little bit of room to go back and forth, but nothing too terrible. All in all, seems amazing. Again, I was using the smallest quantity that they recommend. Honestly, I think you could probably do smaller, and I'll probably toy with it and everything just to kind of see what those limitations really are. Again, I plan on making several dough balls. Like, I mean, we're talking 100 dough balls or so. So it'll take a couple batches, but so they also make a 5 kilogram model, I believe an 8 kilogram model, and then the 12 that are in 120 volt. There might be some others, I don't know. I know they make some 220 volt versions that go up to, I think, 44 kilograms, something of that nature. But I mean, really, for the price point, whenever you compare them to your FMOG and your Sun Mix, you know, I really think bang for the buck here. This is an amazing mixer. So I hope this helps. Never done a video like this before, so like and subscribe if you want to kind of join me on this journey. I'll make a video on how I'm making my dough and everything, and probably in that video I'll go over some of the trial and errors I've done with, you know, yeast and dough percentages, using different types of dough, different strengths of dough, everything like that, you know, salt, everything like that. So again, like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.